24 people were arrested in a riot in the city's historic center overnight. Anti-immigrant protesters fought with police after a stabbing incident involving 3 young children. Ramy Inocencio reports on the violence apparently fueled by larger concerns about immigration.
Hundreds of police officers faced down a swarm of rioters in central Dublin. The mob of about 100 setting fire to buses and police vehicles and looting more than a dozen businesses. Ireland's police commissioner called the violence disgraceful and said far-right groups were responsible.
We have a complete lunatic hooligan faction driven by far-right ideology.
Sparking the chaos, several stabbings earlier in the day of 3 young children and a woman who tried to stop their attacker.
It was horrendous, and the children screaming and the women screaming.
The sole person of interest, a man in his 40s, an Irish national only for about half that time. The knifings unleashed rising anti-immigration anger. This year, Ireland marked record immigration, granting entry to more than 100,000 foreigners. The same anti-immigration wave delivered a surprise landslide win this week for anti-Islam politician Geert Wilders in the Netherlands.
People expect our agenda of hope, tougher asylum and immigration policy.
Wilders is known as the Dutch Donald Trump, as much for his populist policies as for his hair. He's called the Quran a fascist book and has been the target of death threats. As police in Dublin prepare for a possible second night of violence, the Prime Minister said these scenes should be condemned by all those who believe in the rule of law and democracy. For CBS.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. As you all can see in my title, there's a few things that I'm going to be covering here. This news clip is about the riots that have been happening in Dublin, Ireland, and the narrative that's being put out, okay, of why these riots are happening. But before I continue, don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Pass it around. Also, I want to thank all my subscribers, all my new subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. And if you want to help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my PayPal. And also, I got a notice today when I logged into YouTube about some of my comments being deleted, saying that they went against YouTube policy. Now, if anybody knows me, when I comment, I try to keep my comments as clean as possible. There may be some anger or something like that in it, but I never advocate violence or anything of the sort. I don't curse at people or anything like that. So anybody's guess is as good as mine of why they would send me that. I could only think of one comment that I left, and there was nothing wrong in it. There was nothing rude in it. It was just an opinion of mine. So I'm thinking that's what they went after. But if anybody else sees that any of their comments are being deleted or whatever the case is, let me know. And if you can email me exactly what the comment was, so I can get a better idea of exactly what's going on. I wrote back to YouTube. I'm hoping to get a response because, you know, last I checked, when somebody accuses you of something but they don't show any proof, then that's just being bullied, in my opinion. Okay? And that's being censored, because if you at least tell me what it is I said, then maybe I can figure it out and say, okay, you know what, then, you know, I'll try to clean it up, or I'll, you know, we'll see what's going on. But to just tell me that if it happens again, that they're going to disable my comments and or that they will delete my channel, if you can believe that. Okay, I haven't even been monetized yet. I don't even have enough subscribers and or watch hours to get monetized, and I'm already being told. Now, I don't know if this is procedure, if anybody has ever had one of their comments deleted and they got the same notice. But if they didn't and I did, that tells me that, you know what, this channel's reaching far more than what the algorithm is showing. Okay. Or it could just be somebody who just got their feelings hurt or didn't like what I said and just wrote something nasty, which in any case, again, I should see my accuser's face or see what the comment was. Okay. But without further ado, that clip you just seen was of what's going on in Ireland. A couple of things to take from this. I'm going to show a few more clips, one or two from Ireland and some other things. You know, the media, and this is by CBS News, so it doesn't surprise me. Right away, they want to say that this riot is because it's about anti-immigration, and right away they want to call people that are anti-immigration far-right extremists. Okay, now bear with me on this video. It might be another long one, but I'm gonna see if CBS is going to follow that narrative, saying that the people in Ireland who are fed up with the illegal immigration but have been very how can I say quiet about it, you know, they've been putting up with it, they're rioting because even though it was an Irish nationalist, a person that was an immigrant that came, okay, and got his Irish how can I say paperwork to be an Irish citizen, he goes in front of a school and he stabs 2 adults and 3 children. One of them's a 5-year-old girl who's in critical condition. Now, if that doesn't spark an outrage by the citizens, I don't exactly know what the powers that be in Ireland expect or would have expected to happen. Now, let's just take off the table the fact that this person was an illegal that came in and got his citizenship. On some of the reports that I've seen, okay, the reason why they started rioting was because after the person was arrested, he was released. Okay, so I'm going to show the next clip, and whenever I put content out, is for everybody to make up their own mind, their own decision. In my mind, if it is true that that person was released after committing that heinous crime, I would be just as pissed off and outraged as anybody else, regardless of who the person was. Okay, but let's continue.
In shock, turned into an evening of raw anger. For hours after the mass stabbing attack outside a primary school, hundreds of people, fueled by angry online speculation of the suspect's nationality, took over the main street of Ireland's capital. Shops on a...
Okay, see, right here they're saying that, you know, it was online speculation. No, the proof came out, and they know that the proof came out, and it wasn't a 40-year-old man, it was a 50-year-old man, and supposedly the man was from Nigeria. Okay, but you see what's going on here? When it comes to, and just a quick side note, right now Germany and Italy, okay, are coming up with some deals between both countries, you know, that are supposed to better the population, whatever business they're doing. But one of the things on the table with them is the illegal immigration, okay, the asylum seekers that are coming in to Italy, like by the boatload, literally. They come in by boat, just flooding Italy's coast, okay? And a lot of them don't even want to stay in Italy. A lot of them want to make their way to Germany. Now, if anybody remembers, a few years ago, there was a big surge in Germany of a lot of illegals coming in and not trying to point the finger at any race or any religion, but a lot of them were Muslim, and there was, I mean, countless attacks, okay? Countless attacks on women in Germany. And they try to hide it. The media try to hide it, okay? So Ireland has been having problems themselves, okay? The same as England has been having problems themselves, okay? Now, people get upset with all these European countries finally standing up and saying enough is enough. We are tired of the so-called asylum-seeking immigrants that are coming in, but then they take over sectors of the country and they start implementing their own way of living and laws and going against what the state laws are in those countries. So you'll have a boiling point, okay? It's bound to boil over at any given point, okay? Now, in the first news clip, like I said, about CBS News, calling these people far-right extremists because they're anti-immigration, I'm not understanding how the left keeps pushing this narrative about, oh, this is what it is not what you see and know, is what we're going to keep regurgitating until you believe it to be facts, which is not happening. It's actually falling apart on their behalf. Okay? But we're going to continue some more, so let's go.
O'Connell Street were looted. Buses, trams and a police car were all set alight as the police struggled to bring the disorder under control. The country's most senior officer tonight appealing for calm.
The why and the motive behind this is a very principal part of our investigation, and that's what we're seeking to determine. At the meantime, then, we've also got pretty serious public order problems to deal with in the city tonight. And those things are disgraceful, and wish people to calm down, go home, and allow us actually conduct our duties and our investigations properly.
It all stemmed from this, a lunchtime knife attack with no immediate motive outside a primary school on Parnell Square. Horrified eyewitnesses rushed to intervene.
Well, there was a man and he was leaning over children and he was stabbing them. So when he got over there, we just jumped in and got a hold of the man and put him to the ground.
In the bedlam, 3 young children aged 5 and 6 were injured, one 5-year-old girl seriously. A woman in her 30s was also injured. The man, subdued by both witnesses and the police, was taken to hospital. The attack was condemned across the political spectrum, the horror etched on the face of even seasoned leaders.
This is the last thing that you expect to happen on a Thursday afternoon in the middle of Dublin City. It's a great school community and people's hearts are with the children who have been traumatised, those who have been injured, and we pray for their full recovery.
Police are this evening crediting the bystanders from preventing the situation being even worse.
I'm not a hero. No way am I a hero. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. I'm a Dublin lady, you know what I mean? I do believe that our city shouldn't be like this. Our children should be safe.
But the actions of Dublin's heroes have now been eclipsed by the actions of what the Garda Commissioner called its hooligan faction.
Okay, I don't even want to hear that part when he says it's hooligan faction. If anybody knows what a hooligan is, okay, I mean, the only time they really use that is when, which you don't hear much of lately, or, I mean, I haven't, but it's usually when they have the soccer games and you have groups of guys, going after each other because one team hates the other team or whatever the case is. And this was real big. I remember back in the 90s, where it was like, talked about a lot. But for the police commissioner to say, this is just, a bunch of hooligans doing this. Do I believe that some people have gone out there, to riot and destroy stuff just because? Yes, but that happens in every situation. When something, there's going to be a major protest and things get out of control. Okay, not every protest. I'm just saying when a protest just gets out of control, you're going to have people that just want the chaos. They're going to capitalize and think that it's fun, and it's not. You're destroying businesses and you're disrupting people's ways of life. But with that being said, the rise in crime in Europe, which a lot of people, the powers that be, don't want you to believe. Yeah, gun crimes are down, but if you look at the news, if you pay close attention, there's a lot of stabbings going on in different European countries. Okay? So, could it be that the people are fed up with the immigration and all it took was that one immigrant? Or I should say, I mean, they said he was a citizen now, committing the crime? Or was it that they were tired of crimes being committed and nobody's doing anything about it, and this was the last straw, regardless of what race the person was? Okay? So when you have Germany and Italy working together to try to curb illegals from coming in, because Italy is paying up to $1,000 for illegals not to come in. And you got the citizens voting that they want the border shut. Okay, you have people in England, you have people in Ireland, Poland doing the same thing, the Netherlands doing the same thing. You know, you have all these European countries that are like, we've had enough of this illegal immigrant wave that is not only affecting them, it's also affecting us people, and you know this in America. Okay? More and more illegals come in, and they're bringing crime. Okay? And then people may say, well, you know, that's not right. And no, I agree. And there are also illegal immigrants coming in from Europe that are criminally minded also. So I'm not gonna play, you know, like I don't know that can't be true. No, it is. But for the most part, it just seems like more and more people that are coming from the non-Western world are infiltrating the Western world via America and Europe, and they're bringing a lot of their crime and ideology to us. Okay? They mentioned about the guy in the Netherlands who won the presidency, trying to say that he's a far-right extremist and all this nonsense. But I'm going to play a clip so you guys can understand where he's coming from. Because the leftist news, not only in America but around the world, they try to paint everybody, you know, one way who disagrees with them, and the ones that they want to come into the countries that cause chaos, they paint them as, you know, as these peace-loving peace bringers that are fleeing these horrible countries. And my thing is this: are they all bad? Absolutely not. Could they be fleeing a chaotic situation? I believe so. But the chaos is also reaching here. So why let them in if the chaos that they're fleeing is spilling over to our land or to the lands of Europe? But let's continue. Okay, so here's the clip from the Dutch Prime Minister, okay, of the Netherlands. And this is what he has to say. And I have to be honest, and I'm going to let it out right now. I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. Okay? Being born and raised in the Bronx, we're around a lot of people that come in, and there is one thing that a lot of us noticed. Okay? A lot of Muslims that came in to New York, they didn't care to live by American law. They just didn't. Okay? And it's something that people need to understand. Okay? There was a police officer in New York that I believe he stabbed and killed his girlfriend because he believed that she was being unfaithful. Young guy too. I believe he was like 29 years old. It was a few years back. Okay? He was a police officer. He thought that it was in his right to do so because it's what their custom calls for. Okay? Now, whatever your custom is in your country, especially if it deals with you taking someone's life or hurting someone because you feel you have that right, then you could just stay in your country. Okay? Just stay there. Because in the Western world, out of many, many things that are taboo, two of the things that are very taboo is harming women and children. And if you don't believe in that, or if you believe that you're not supposed to, but there's a circumstance where you can, no, you're wrong either way. Just stay in your country. But let's continue.
En mijn boodschap aan hen is, wegwezen. Vertrek naar een islamitisch land.
Okay, right here it says Dutch Prime Minister probable Geert Wilders, I guess, pushed Muslims who value Quran more than Constitution to leave nation. Now, some people may say, well, that's not right. Well, you need to understand one thing, okay? But before I left New York years ago, there was a lot of talk about Sharia law. Now, if anybody watching doesn't know what Sharia law is, I'm not going to say anything about it. Look it up. Okay? Look it up. One of the things I will say about it is that Sharia law goes against any other country's constitutional law. Okay? Sharia law is an ideology. It's not a law that benefits everybody. It's not a law that benefits the whole society. Okay? Whereas a constitutional law is made to benefit all of society. So what this man is saying, in my opinion, is the right thing to say, because I have noticed, and a lot of people have noticed, and this is not false information, a lot of Muslims in America don't care to follow American law. They just want to be here in body, but what they want to believe in as to be the law that they're going to follow, they basically should just go back to their land where it's acceptable. I'm not even going to knock their law. If that's what you want, then go back to your country, and you should be, like we say, you should feel at home. Why are you going to go to another nation and force it upon them and say, well, this is what I believe in, you're going to have to accept it? That's not your nation. That's not your country. But let's continue.
Voorzitter, tenslotte heb ik nog een boodschap aan al die moslims in Nederland die onze vrijheid, onze democratie en onze kernwaarden niet respecteren. Die de regels van de Koran belangrijker vinden dan onze seculiere wetten.
Okay, did you guys read that? Okay, I'll go back just a little bit. And this is what he's saying. Meanwhile, the news wants to paint them as a far-right extremist. Okay? And it's disgusting, the narrative that they keep putting out. So I'll go back a little bit and try to pause and read this at the same time. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Die onze vrijheid.
But it says here, okay, right here,
al die moslims in Nederland.
I'm very sorry. Let me go back just a little more. All right, right here. It says, Speaker, to wrap up, I have a message for all the Muslims in the Netherlands. Okay.
Ten slotte heb ik nog een boodschap aan al die moslims in Nederland.
Who do not respect our freedom, our democracy and our core values.
Die onze vrijheid, onze democratie en onze kernwaarden niet respecteren. Die de regels.
And it says, who find the rules of the Quran to be more important than our secular laws. I mean, that's just straightforward. Okay.
Van de Koran belangrijker vinden dan onze seculiere wetten.
And it says there are many of those researched by whatever group, I can't see what it says exactly back here, but it says there are 700,000 people, okay, in the Netherlands that believe that. Now, I don't know if that number is a big number to anybody watching, but 700,000 people, that is a standing army. That is a lot of people in one area. You have to remember, the Netherlands probably doesn't have as many people as the United States. So that percentage could be, I mean, if they have, I don't know the numbers. Let's just say they have 30 million people. Okay? 700,000, that can easily be 1.4 million in 2 years. Okay, they could, I mean, if they're going to have children, they're going to have children. Now you got more and more people believing this way. And then what happens? They have enough people to rant and rave and start trying to push their own laws and taking down the secular laws in the Netherlands. So you see how dangerous this is? But yet people want to deem this man to be a far right extremist when what he actually is a nationalist. He loves his country. He loves the laws that are set by the people in the country, and they live by, okay, in harmony, and that's what he wants. But when you have somebody coming in that don't respect those laws, they'd rather listen, okay, to their religious laws, what are you going to have? You're going to have a problem. And some people may say, well, they can live by their religious laws. True, everybody should. But then why can't Christians live their laws in the Middle East? Why are they vilified? What gives the Muslims the right to live by their laws, their religious laws, in someone else's country, but yet Christians, okay, or Buddhists, okay, or Catholics, or Jews, or Protestants, why can't those religious people live the way they want to under their religious laws in the Middle East, where it's predominantly Muslim? Think about that. But let's continue.
En dat zijn er veel. 700.000 blijkt uit het onderzoek van professor Koopmans. En mijn boodschap aan hen is: wegwezen. Vertrek naar een islamitische...
There you go. The message to him is get out. If you want to live in an Islamic state, move to an Islamic country. Where he says, then you can enjoy Islamic rules. And that is the straight up truth. It's true. If you want to live in an Islamic state, okay, that belittles women, okay, that basically walks all over everybody else's beliefs, and anybody that's watching, and if there's any liberals or leftists watching, I want you to understand where I'm coming from with this. Okay? Before you jump on the bandwagon that, oh, you support this, be very careful. And I'll tell you why. You may think that it's okay to go against somebody like me that doesn't believe in Islam. But if you're gay, anybody out there gay, and you're against me, do you actually think they're going to accept you anymore? Think about that. But let's continue.
land, dan kunt u genieten van islamitische regels. Dat zijn hun regels, maar niet de onze. Dit is ons.
It says this is our country, not your country, but our country. This is the Netherlands. That is well said. And if nobody likes it, too damn bad, but that is well said. And the reason why I say that is because here in America, okay, all these riots that are happening, all these pro-Palestinian riots are getting out of control. Okay? They're waving the Palestinian flags, they're burning the American flag and the Jewish flag, but yet they're doing it on our soil. Many of them born and raised in this country. So you're born and raised in this country, but you hold what you say is valuable to you, okay, the ideology that's going on in another country. You want to be pro-Palestinian? That's fine. But why don't you be pro-Palestinian in Palestine? Or is it too hot over there for you? Or is it that you don't have the balls to go help Palestine fight for their freedom? Or whatever the case is. No, you rather stay in America, bitch and moan and holler, riot, burn things down, attack people, kill others, and you have no idea what is happening 100% in Gaza. Even to the point, okay, that the son of one of the men that founded Hamas, and not as of recent, we're talking as much as 10 years ago, when he left, has been warning people, and even the people of Palestine here rioting, people that are here that are pro-Palestine rioting, telling them, you have no idea what's going on in Palestine. You have no idea the ideology that Hamas pushes. But let's continue.
Ons land. Niet uw land, maar ons land. Dit is Nederland.
I already know where this is going. It says Freedom Party's leader PVV in Netherlands, likely to be next prime minister of the Netherlands, heard saying in unverified video. So if it's on unverified video, why even put out a statement like this? Think about that. Says, I have a message for all the Muslims in the Netherlands. We do not who do not respect our freedom, our democracy, and our core values, who find the rules of the Quran more important than our secular laws. There are many of those. Research by Professor Kumpen shows there are I guess that means 700,000, like they showed before. And my message to them is, get out, leave for an Islamic country. Then you can enjoy Islamic rules. Those are their rules, but not ours. Again, I agree. Okay, now it says, meanwhile, centrist parties, Peter Omitz, I guess that's how you pronounce it, says sees challenges in aligning with Wilders due to his extreme views. Again, why are his views extreme? This is what the leftist news media organizations, they keep using certain keywords to trigger people's anger. Far right, extremists, extreme views, this and that. Is it so damn hard if you're living in a neighborhood, okay, that is riddled with drug activity, the crime, the rape, prostitution, whatever it is, for the people of the neighborhood or one person to stand up and get the people of the neighborhood together and say, we have had enough. We're going to go out there because the city's not doing nothing, the state's not doing nothing, the police department is not doing anything. We're going to go and take back our streets. Why does that have to be deemed like an extreme view? People will say, well, that has nothing to do with this. Well, in their eyes, it does. Because they see something in the Netherlands that they don't like. And in their eyes, they are trying to stop the bleeding. Okay? Or they're trying to stop the cut from being made. Because if not, what you're going to have is like a situation right now that's going on in Ireland. Okay? And now you have a situation in Italy and Germany that are combining forces. One is from the right and one is from the left. Okay? But they're doing things to curb all the illegal immigration. Because they see a certain type of ideology entering their countries. And if it hasn't changed, and listen to what I have to say, if it has not changed for the better in the Middle East, how are letting hundreds of thousands or millions of people from the Middle East going to make things better for the Middle East by letting them into other countries where they're going to continue to believe in what they believe in? Because that is not the goal. Okay? The goal is occupation. It's an occupation. And the powers that be in the Western world and in the Middle East, they know this. They know this is what it's about. Has nothing to do with asylum seekers. And if it does, it's probably a small percentage. What it is an occupation. But I'm going to show you another clip. Here we go.
A riot has just broken out at a school after students discovered that one of their teachers attended a pro-Israel rally. In fact, the riot got so bad that not only did the teacher have to lock herself in one of the classrooms, but the NYPD sent a couple dozen cops to restore order and even tapped its counter-terrorism bureau to investigate a possible threat against the school. Videos from the incident show dozens of students chanting, a water fountain ripped out, and tiles in the boys' bathroom completely smashed. After about 2 hours, the school's deans and a sergeant finally corralled these students back into the classrooms, and police escorted the teacher safely out of the building. However, it doesn't end there, because some of the students told the New York Post that kids followed and spat on her, while other students said that they found where she lives, her address, her phone number, her family, and other personal information. So far, only one kid has been arrested and charged with aggravated harassment after making threats over a group chat.
Okay, so that was a clip of what's going on in one of the schools in New York. Okay. Now, you've seen the kids acting up. You've seen some of them waving the Palestinian flag. The story goes that they're after a teacher that wants to go to a pro-Israeli rally. Now, you've seen those kids playing around, dancing, just joining in on the protest. Do you actually think those kids have any damn clue what's going on in Palestine? No, they're just along for the ride when it comes to, causing havoc and chaos. Okay, so this is the way I see it. In the beginning of this video, I showed you a clip by CBS saying that the people that are protesting in Dublin, Ireland, are against illegal immigration, or against immigration, period. So what are these kids' excuse? Not one of them is waving an American flag. No, their excuse is that they're protesting, okay, somebody else's belief. In America, in New York. So explain to me how they're not considered far-right extremists. I mean, because you can't have a news organization that is worldwide and show one thing in one part of the world and label it one thing, but you're not going to put a news clip out about what's going on in New York and not, put your commentary on it. It's like, well, why don't you say something about those kids who all vilified a teacher for being pro-Israel? I don't know, maybe because she's probably Jewish. Her civil rights are being violated. Where's the new media? Where's the news media? Up in an uproar for that? Oh, you won't see it because the powers that be, what they want to collapse Western society. That's what I'm beginning to believe, or I should say, I've believed that for a very long time, but you're seeing a lot of it now. Where you'll have one particular party around the world, all for the chaos, all for the illegal immigration, all for the crime and all that, and then you'll have the other side that's against it, but they're being called the extremists because they don't want to open up their doors to more chaos. Okay? So we have this situation in Ireland, in the Netherlands, okay, that they're talking about that is so bad, so far right extreme. So explain this in New York. Is this far leftist extremism that we're seeing? Because we all know the people that are pro-Palestine, they sure as shit are not pro-America. They're not pro-Israeli. I don't see any of them voting Republican in the near future or ever. So does this make them far leftist extremists? Because if I had to guess, the answer to that, with everything that's going on, is becoming a big fat yes. Why is it that the people in Ireland that are protesting, be it the stabbing, be it illegal immigration, why are they far-right extremists? But with all the Palestinian protesting that's going on and all the riots and all the destruction that they're causing and defacing our national monument, putting up their flag, why isn't that considered far-left extremism? You know? But with all that chaos going on, okay, people are fed up. People in Chicago, in New York, in Colorado, because of the illegal immigration. So the next clips I'm going to show you, leave in the comment section and you tell me if the people speaking in these next clips, if they're far-right extremists. I'd like to know. But let's continue.
More than 2,000 migrants are in Denver shelters tonight, but their time is running out.
Some are now finding themselves on the streets in these freezing temperatures. Denver 7's Christian Lopez spoke with migrant families today asking for help.
I'm from Colombia and she's from Venezuela.
¿Cuánto tiempo tienen en Denver?
We've been in Denver approximately a month.
I spoke to Freyman Escorcia and his wife Nadelis, who say their time at this Denver shelter is running out.
When your time is up, they kick you out. There's no help when you get out.
All while also counting down
She's 7 months pregnant.
to the birth of their child. They're worried about ending up on the streets, like dozens of other migrant families now living in this large encampment at Spear and Zunai.
A lot of people outside who have been kicked out, they have nowhere to go, so they're out here with these temperatures. It's concerning because there's kids and pregnant women like her.
Many families who are staying in these tents tell us that they were previously living in this hotel, but they were kicked out because their time ran out. They tell us the only reason they're getting by is because of generous community members like these who are constantly stopping by and delivering food and other donations.
Okay, I'll just stop it there for right now. So here we have a situation in Denver where they had all these illegals come in. They gave them room and board. And now, for whatever reason, they're being kicked onto the street. As you can see in the clip, okay, there's snow on the ground. There's children out there. They're living in tents. One woman says she's pregnant. Don't know if she, she conceived while she was here or on her way here. Who knows? So if I come out and say this is one of the many reasons why I'm against illegal immigration, does that make me a far-right extremist? I mean, because the people that are letting them in, the leftists, they don't seem to care. So if I cared enough to say I want the borders to my country shut because this is one of the main reasons, so these people don't have to suffer after being lied to, does that make me an extremist, a far-right extremist? Or does it make me a humanitarian for saying, you know what? Why would you let somebody come into this country illegally just so you could do the same thing to them already, what you've been doing to your constituents for decades, which is kick them to the curb? This is in Denver, Colorado. Okay? Let's see how Chicago's doing. Here, this is from ABC Chicago about 4 hours ago.
Dozens of protesters, most of them residents of Brighton Park, came out once again today to speak up against the city's plans to erect a winterized base camp for migrants at this vacant lot at 38th Street in California, construction on which, according to a letter Saturday from 12th Ward Alderwoman Julia Ramirez, will begin tomorrow. This in spite of soil tests showing the land is contaminated with toxic metals.
A while back, they tried to put a playground, they couldn't. They tried to put a school, they couldn't. People did have background histories on this site. It was contaminated because it was a railroad track disposal.
For nearly 6 weeks now, a small contingent of residents has been out nearly every day to express their displeasure at the proposed camp, which they believe would drain already limited resources from those who live here.
You got veterans out there, you got homeless. Why didn't you take care of our people before anybody else?
News that the soil is polluted has only heightened residents' opposition, some saying they don't trust that adequate remediation has been done.
They should release the environmental report to the public so we know how toxic this land is, and they said they fixed it. It's by laying a thin layer of little stone that you put on your garden, okay? That's their fix.
The winterized.
Okay. This clip is only about 2 minutes, but you got the gist of it. So in Colorado, they let the illegal immigrants in. They give them shelter. They kick them out to the curb. In Chicago, against the people's, advice, they don't listen to them. People are protesting. We don't want no illegals in here. They let them in. Now they want to take property that it has toxic, that is toxic, the soil and all that. The ground is toxic, and they want to stick the illegals in there. Now, people, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. But, like I said, leave in the comments. You tell me. Does me thinking that it's wrong to let these people in the first place, and then after going against your constituents' request, now you're going to take those illegals, kick them to the curb, put them in harm's way. Tell me if I think that being wrong makes me a far-right extremist. Because in my opinion, the best thing they should have did was say, no, you can't come in, go back to your country. But it's more taxpayer money being used in Chicago to fix up an area that you've heard them, that they weren't going to build anything on it for a very long time because it was toxic. They tried. They wanted to build a park for the kids. Nope, couldn't do that. But now you're going to take people that are here illegally and you're going to subject them to the whatever contaminants are in there. But if I come out and say, as a humanitarian, well, maybe we shouldn't let them in the country, period, because one, we don't have any space. Two, you're treating them bad, so why even bother letting them here? Because you're stepping over, American citizens to give illegals, more incentives. And since you're running out of ideas, now you're kicking them to the curb. So what am I missing here when it comes to the verbiage and when it comes to the labeling that these news media outlets, use and put on people? Because what I see is a far left, ideology. What I see is a far left agenda. This is why I've said it before and I'll say it again. The leftists around the world and the Democrats do not care about people. They don't care about their constituents. They definitely don't care about people that don't vote for them. But in general, they do not care about people. It's about power and control. But let's continue.
Well, back here at home, despite months of pushback from neighbors, a migrant encampment on the city's south side is becoming a reality.
Residents who live near 115th and Halsted say construction has been ramping up over the last several days, and we saw it for ourselves today, yet officials have not been forthcoming about the details. Casey Cronus live downtown with the latest. Casey?
Dane and Natalie, we have asked again and again, but still don't have a project timeline from the mayor's office. Tonight, a spokesperson tells me they are looking into the site's infrastructure before starting construction. But whatever work was being done today was soon out of view.
Okay, now I want everybody to pay attention to this news clip. I have one more after this, so bear with me, stay with me. Also, from my last video that I put out, it was almost an hour long. I had a ton of views and people leaving comments and stuff like that, so I want to thank you all. But again, this was a little lengthy, but what's going on here in Chicago, okay, is more of how the powers that be are trying to pull the veil over everybody's eyes while telling them, you know what, no, it's all in your head. If you think like that, you're a racist, you're a far-right extremist, you're this, you're that, you just hate people and you hate migrants that are asylum seekers and whatever the case is. Okay? But I want you to pay close attention. And if anybody in Chicago is watching this, if anybody in Chicago is part of this, okay, the same way I said about New York and all that, shame on you. Shame on you for even being a part of this. All these contractors right here, shame on you all. Okay, because if I was the last contractor in the neighborhood and the government came up to me and said, we want to pay you to do this, I would say, take your money and stick it. I'm not going against my people, my neighbors, okay, my country. But obviously, to whoever's involved in this, all these companies, it's not about America for them either. It's about the money. But let's continue.
Behind a newly installed chain-link fence that surrounds a once bustling grocery store, there's no denying that movement is being made.
Yes, I heard they were out until 1 o'clock in the morning.
But it's progress that on Sunday, crews were quick to cover up, just minutes after we got there. First, a water department truck was positioned directly in front of our Fox 32 camera.
Okay, so now we know that the water department is down with it. Okay? So start taking notes.
Seemingly trying to obstruct our view.
And Cowboy here.
But
now look at this.
all. Workers soon lined the fence.
You see what they're doing there? Does that remind anybody of anything? Some videos that I made? Does Maui Lahaina ring a bell? The way they try to obstruct the view of people? Not trying to get off topic, but in Lahaina, when they put this up, they said it was to stop dust and stuff from blowing. Or could they have been covering something up like they're doing right here? Because I highly doubt the people are worried about dust and any debris and anything like that flying through these gates onto the street. I mean, they live in the big city. They know what dirt is. No, it's to cover, okay? To cover up their bullshit, their scheme, their plan. That's what it is. So this guy's laughing, he's smiling and all that. You're on blast. Everybody can see your face. Same over here. How do you even look at your neighbors in Chicago, knowing what's going on, and sell out to be a part of this when it affects you also? Let's continue.
With a black screen.
As a taxpayer, it makes me feel horrible. I feel that we have a corrupt system. They are not listening to the people.
Thank you.
Residents, including Annette Kane, have been speaking out against the encampment since the very start.
So now I'm looking as a single mom, what about us?
Like Kane.
Okay. So, I don't know. That was one black woman. Here's another one. They're upset. As a taxpayer, like she said and all that, does that make them far-right extremists? Living in Chicago? Living in a predominantly Democratic state? Well, I should say city? Does that make them far-right extremists? I mean, I wonder, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, whoever it is that's putting out all this rhetoric about when people are upset about an immigration influx, that they automatically become far-right extremists. Do the people in Chicago who have bitching and moaning and crying about what's going on, Okay, and I don't mean that in a bad way. About them bitching and moaning and crying. Okay? They've been bitching and moaning and crying to you, the elected officials, because you promised them something and you're taking it away from them to give it to somebody else. So by right, they should bitch and moan and cry. But does that make them a far-right extremist? Again, if anybody thinks it is, or, you know, they feel that I'm seeing it all wrong, let me know in the comment section. Because what I see are people that are fed up. Like in Ireland, like in the Netherlands, okay, like in Italy, like in Germany, okay, like Chicago, like New York, and Colorado. They're fed up of the illegal immigration. They're fed up of all the lies the left is giving them. Okay, they're fed up of all the crime. They're fed up of all the protest. They're fed up of people stepping on their nation's flags, stepping onto their nation's land, bringing in their own ideology, okay, going against, okay, like your man from the Netherlands said, secular law. Why shouldn't people get upset about all that? Why shouldn't people be afraid of all that? You should. Now, I'm not saying get upset where you're going to go hurt somebody. I'm not saying that. I don't advocate violence in any way. But should you be afraid that the leftist party around the world wants to change the demographics around the world? Yes. Be very afraid. The only thing that's stopping them from admitting to this and from implementing this 100% overnight is, in my opinion, is thin air. That's stopping them. Basically just thin air. Because they sure as shit don't care about the laws that are on the books, about what judges say in the courtrooms. They don't care. They're going to do whatever the hell they want anyway. So why not go full force? In my opinion, the only thing that's stopping them is thin air. Or is it something more nefarious? It always tends to lean to something more nefarious, we have to admit. So, the next and last clip I'll show you real quick, and then I'll wrap it up. Here we go.
A poll from Siena College shows that New York Democrats overwhelmingly say the migrant crisis is a serious problem. No doubt about it. But New York's Mayor Eric Adams agrees, but he doesn't want to take the blame. Listen to this.
And I tell people all the time when they stop me on the subway system, don't yell at me, yell at DC. Yell at DC.
Okay, well, Congresswoman, how do we fix it if nobody wants to take...
Okay, I'll leave it at that. That was the little clip I wanted to show you. You know, I've always said that Eric Adams is a pompous prick. Okay, excuse the language. And if anybody's still with me, thank you. Okay, it's a long video. But I've always said also that the Democrats, they eat themselves. They'll eat each other no matter what. Okay? I like to say it like this. If anybody watched the movie Lost in Space that came out, the remake, a few years ago, there's a scene where the doctor in the future becomes like this half-man, half-spider creature. Now they're trying to kill him, but they don't know how. So in the movie, the boy, now he's a grown man, he cuts the doctor's belly open and all these little baby spiders come out. And they're looking at him like, why'd you do that? And then all of a sudden, the little spiders start eating the doctor. He's the host. They start eating him. And that helps them to escape. And they wind up asking, how did you know that? And he said that particular spider, he learned they eat themselves. To me, that's what the Democrats are. They're like that herd of spiders that they just eat themselves. They'll live together until they grow, and then when they want something more, they'll go and they eat themselves. I know it's probably a sick analogy, but that's the only way I can look at the Democrats in this day and age. The leftists around the world in this day and age. You know, it's supposed to be that they say that they really care for people and the group of tolerance and peace and love. Really? You're so tolerant that you let illegal immigrants do whatever they want, commit crimes, because you love them. What about your constituents that are the victims? Shouldn't you be tolerant and love them also when they get upset and they fight back? I guess not, huh? But anyway, that's what I have for you. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it was long. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget, if anybody leaves a comment and you feel it was deleted, let me know. Okay? And if you want to help the channel, and you can donate, there's a link in my description in the bottom to my PayPal and my Cash App. People, what's going on, like I said, this is an occupation. And the powers that be know it. They're trying to disrupt everyone's way of life. And it's all for just power, control. That's all it is, money. Okay, they don't care. They say they care about people. No, they don't. They say they care about people, and, you know, they care about everybody's, you know, ideas and everybody's, you know, free rights and, you know, right to express themselves. And not, just stop. They don't. They really don't. And there's a lot of Rhino Republicans out there that are the same. They don't care. Okay? To them, it's the same thing. Power. Power, control, money. That's all it is. But the main thing is, more people are waking up. We can't let them silence the voices of the people that love their countries. I'm not saying the ones trying to rush into your country. You love your country that much? Like I tell anybody that's protesting for Palestine. You have something to say, you want to wave an American flag next to a Palestinian flag, I can support you on that. Okay? But it better not be through hate to get rid of the Jew, okay, that is standing across the street protesting also, waving an American flag and a Jewish flag. But if you just want to wave a Palestinian flag and burn the American flag, get your ass to Palestine. Go fight for Palestine, because obviously they need help, and there's nothing you can do here to help them by protesting. Okay? So do I stand with the gentleman in the Netherlands for what he's saying about the Muslims over there that don't want to be part of their culture and all that? I agree with him 100%. I'll agree with anybody, anywhere that agrees that, you know what, if you're going to come here and disrupt our way of life and you're going to push your way of life here, I'm against it. And this goes with European and American countries going overseas and trying to do the same thing over there. Okay, so I don't want anybody to think that, oh, I'm just one-sided, like, oh, but if America goes, no, I honestly, listen, if you are not a threat to our country, we can do business. But I'm definitely not for imperialism or anything like that. But if you're going to start a war and attack, and we have to go over there and like they say in the South, we got to show our ass, then hey, all's fair in love and war. Excuse me. It's just the way I see it. I mean, because they can come here and occupy and infiltrate, and last I checked, there was no war in America on American soil. There was no war in Ireland, in the Netherlands. So why are so many people trying to flood these places and trying to plant their flag? Think about that. So remember, stay vigilant, keep praying, and keep praying for each other. Peace.